Hey, my sleepy samurais. So today we have the mini microphone again, and I figured I'd do a little tattoo tour. I have had people ask me for a tattoo tour. I did one custom video, a tattoo tour. And I've had people, like I said, ask me about my tattoos since I started YouTube, so I figured we could just chit chat about them a little bit. Something's going on with my connector for my Blue Yeti, so we're just gonna do it with a mini microphone. I was gonna do like a tracing video because I had a lot of people ask that, but we're just gonna do it with a mini microphone. We're gonna see how it goes. So my first tattoo was actually this one right here. It's 1992 in Roman numerals. I got it when I was 20 or 21. So I didn't start my tattoo journey until I was a little bit older. I'd always wanted to get tattoos, but I just didn't get into a situation where I could start getting them until I was closer to 20. In between 20 and 21, I don't really remember exactly which age, but it was somewhere in there. I am glad that I didn't start getting them as soon as I wanted. Just because it gave me time to develop different interests and have tattoos that I want for the rest of my life. Because they're pretty permanent. I've seen some people where they just go and get them removed willy-nilly whenever they want, and I just kind of like, my stance on it is you got it for a reason when you did, and if it wasn't a good enough reason, then why'd you get it? But then some people are always super happy with their random tattoos that they got for no reason. So I guess it just depends on what kind of person you are. Me personally, I don't think I would ever get it like permanently removed. Would I get it maybe covered up or altered in some way where it looks like a new tattoo? Maybe, but I haven't been put in that situation where that's something I want to do. The only tattoo that I'm like unhappy with, and it's not the design completely, it's just I don't know if it was the lack of experience of the artist that did it, or just something with my skin, because I have another tattoo that has done the same thing by another tattoo artist in a completely different area, and they were both two very different levels of tattoo artists and two very different price ranges. I'll show you what I mean when we get to that tattoo. But yeah, my first tattoo, it looks a little faded now, but it is faded. But I did get it in gray. I did not get it in black because I didn't want such a bold tattoo like right at the front of my body under my boob. I wanted it in gray, and the tattoo artist was kind of like, "Are you sure you want it in gray?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm sure I want it in gray." At first I wanted it in white, because that was like super trendy when I got this tattoo. And I just really liked the way the white ones ended up looking. But the artist said that with my complexion, when it healed, the white would turn brown, which I have seen that on quite a few white tattoos, and then sometimes the white just turns out totally fine. So I don't know. He just didn't recommend it because of my complexion. And if I didn't want a brown tattoo, eventually he recommended not doing it. And the highlight that I've gotten in my other tattoos hasn't lasted so well. So I'm not always a super big fan of highlight, and I'm not a super big fan of tattoos that heavily rely on highlight. Just because of the experience I've had with it. It lifts all the wet skin pretty well. And like I said, I'm not sure if it's just my skin tone or what. I did meet somebody else who had a yellow tattoo that was originally yellow, and the yellow lifted really badly out of their skin, and they had to get it redone. And it's not like regular fade lifting, it's like you almost didn't get it colored in lifting. So I don't know. I'm not a dermatologist. I'm not a scientist on tattoos. I'm not a medical professional. These are just the things that I've noticed. So I would say they're kind of like illustrative, kind of like neo-traditional, American traditional, like a really big like mix. And I have one color realism tattoo that has quite a bit of like highlighting in it, which is kind of like where I decided that I don't really. This will be like my only color realism tattoo, my only close to color tattoo, and I'll show you when we get there. I'm getting like really ahead of myself. I always do that. Okay, so that was my first tattoo, and then a couple of the tattoos I got on my arms, I got like really close to each other, like 4 weeks apart. So I don't really remember which order I got them in, but I'm just gonna show you as we go. The next tattoo artist I went to, I got this origami crane, which I got for my sister. This quote from a poem. I used to write poetry like a lot, and I would post it on the internet. It got pretty popular, but I used a pen name when I was doing it. So I picked one of the poems, well, a line from one of the poems that was like the most popular, and had they all had meaning to me, but especially meaning at that point in my life. It was this one. Her sweet voice was like marmalade. And I like recently like came across a bunch of my notebooks with a bunch of poetry in it, and I have considered taking some of the lines and either turning them into some type of artwork, like printed artwork, or some of them and taking and putting them on sweatshirts. Somebody recently asked me about merchandise in the comments, and it's something I really, really want to do. And I just kind of have I really want to do sweatshirts because I love sweatshirts, and I'm like almost always wearing them. But I don't want to do like one with like one of those like just printed on graphics. I would really, really like to do them where whatever I have on them is stitched. I did start buying like different types of sweatshirts to see which one I would eventually like. But But if you guys have a specific brand that you really like and something I could try to get wholesale, let me know. Like I said, with me being an ASMR artist, I'm trying to think about what the heck am I gonna put in a sweatshirt that people are gonna want to buy, and not just fans of my YouTube channel, just the regular everyday person. But I've come up with a few cute ideas. I think maybe a sleep eye mask might be cute. Just because we're an ASMR channel and community. I don't personally use a sleeping eye mask, and I'm not too sure how popular they are anymore. So there's that. And then I am coming up with some limited edition prints that I'm going to be doing. I am currently working on those, and I talk a lot more about them on my OnlyFans right now, because that's my think tank for different ideas and whatnot. Some of them are going to be a limited release only to my OnlyFans, based on the type of posters they will be. And then I'm not going to get too much into it. I'm just, because I could talk about this for hours. And this tattoo tour is going to take forever. But then I'm going to do some somebody, so since I did all my cosplay tour a couple uploads ago, somebody requested that I do anime posters as well, which is something that I think is going to be really cool. I think those might be, depending on how spicy they get, those might, I would put those up for purchase to everybody in the community, through my YouTube channel and everything. How I'm gonna sell them, I'm not totally sure. Haven't decided on that yet. And then I'm gonna do some that are only limited release to my Patreon. So it's gonna be quite a bit of stuff. If there's any other merchandise recommendations or things that you would desire from me, let me know. So I can see if that can happen. It's 2023, we can make anything happen. So yeah, these two tattoos were done by the same artist. The same artist did this tattoo. It's a tarot card. It's based off of the Three of Swords. And this is one of the this is the first tattoo that I had that I wasn't happy with. And this is actually the last tattoo I got done by this artist, and it totally wasn't because of, I've heard it called bleed out, or where the tattoo artist blows out your skin. It's because they went too deep into the skin, and from what I understand, the ink always stays liquidy underneath your skin, but if you get into the wrong level of skin, it starts to spread out really bad, and it doesn't stay in the image where it's supposed to be, and then it looks like you're bruised all the time. And that's what I'm not it's just kind of awkward to try and show you, but that's what that is right here. And I honestly really hate it. And I hate the fact that it happened. I don't hate the tattoo. And the other part that was really hard when I got this tattoo, I told the artist that I wanted it to look like a Valentine, but it has to be black and gray because I don't get any color tattoos. Well, when I got there, the artist started arguing with me about what I was gonna get, and I'm like, yeah, no, you're gonna draw what I would like and what we agreed upon when I set up this appointment, or you're not doing the tattoo. Because he wanted to do it in color, and he was like really trying to pressure me into doing color, and I really didn't want to. And then, you know, we finally agreed upon what we were gonna do. And then this happened. So I just was really like not about it. This was the last tattoo that he did for me, but this tattoo on my arm right here is one of the other ones he did for me. So this artist did 4, I believe. And to be honest, when he first showed me the design, I wasn't totally sold on the roses. These right here. And it took a little bit of convincing for me to want to get it with the roses, because I originally only wanted the moon, and he took artistic liberty and added the roses. But this is like one of my most complimented tattoos, and everybody loves the way that it looks. So I am happy that I finally decided to do it. The only thing I wish, after seeing it like heal and everything like that and having it for several years, only thing I wish he didn't do was do the line work so heavily on the roses. But you know, it's there, people love it, I appreciate it. And that's that. The next tattoo artist I started going to was a woman. And out of like all of my okay, actually I can't say that anymore. Out of all of my collective work, her work was like the most complimented pieces that I have. Or just the pieces people always came up and talked to me about. But then after I got the one on my leg, when people see that one, they're always like, oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to figure out how to show you guys that one. Okay, so she did this one first. Oh, he also did this one. I always forget I have this one. And then this was also one I had to argue with him about, because I wanted the Get In Loser to be like in the script that it is, and that's what I explained to him when we set up the tattoo appointment. But he did it in like the font in like an 8-bit, like Get In Loser, like it was like robotic. I was like, no, I want it to look like a script welcome sign. And that's what we decided on, because that's what I got. So like, I don't want to seem like I'm kind of a dick when I go and get these tattoos. I'm really open to like, I'm going to the artist for a reason, because I like their work, I appreciate their opinion, but it's also going on my skin. So I'm gonna have an opinion about what I'm getting. And like when I started going to this artist right here, I just showed her what I wanted and she drew it, and I always liked it. So I guess it just depends on the level of communication the artist is willing to have with you, and their ability to actualize the ideas that you have. So I I got this one. It's a peony because peonies are my favorite flowers. I do want to get a couple more peonies. When I first got this one, I really didn't want to go up onto my shoulder. That's why she did just a big one to fill the area. And it was kind of awkward tattoo to do because I already had this and she had to work around it. But yeah, now that I have this, I want to get a few more, like going up on my shoulder. Not too far up onto my, like, the top of my shoulder, because I'm not totally a fan of going like really high up towards the neck. It probably would just be like right around in here. And I'm not really a fan of chest tattoos on women. Some of them look super, super cool. The thing that makes me not like them is every time I see like the woman's chest after she has a tattoo, the tattoo like changes like almost like the texture or the look of the skin, and I'm just really not a fan of it. There are some women who would look absolutely amazing with chest tattoos, and I admire them for that, but it's not something I don't think I would ever get. I think the collarbone tattoos are super cute. But the thing that would like drive me crazy is the fact that I would want it to be straight. But then it would look dumb because it's not following the line of your collarbone. So, in my opinion, if you have that or you love it, that's totally fine for you, boo. We're allowed to have different opinions. So then, she did the peony. She did this. Which this is the only like real tattoo where she like kind of strayed away from what I wanted, but you know, I liked it enough to still get it. This is just ended up just being some lady. I just think it looks cool. I asked her for like this, like just the girl, but I said, you know how a laurel wreath is in like most like Greek goddesses' hair and when they're depicted? I was like, I want to do that, but I want, instead of the laurel wreath, I want to do stars. And she just forgot about the whole changing it to stars thing and came up with this, but I liked it enough where I still got it. And then the other one she did is this one, and it's a skeleton hand holding a pomegranate. And that is, for any of you Greek mythology fans, this is about the story between Hades and Persephone. Go look it up. And then the other tattoo she did was this one right here. And if I have any fans of the Haunted Mansion, the ride in Walt Disney World, this is for that. It's one of my favorite attractions at Walt Disney World, and I grew up going there quite a few times. It's one of the portraits that's in the Haunted Mansion ride. It's for the alley girl is what they call it. I'm not totally sure if there's like an official name of the painting, but yeah, it's a ballerina who's on a tight rope and she's like standing over alligator. So then she also did one that's like right here, but I don't really ever show it unless you're on my OnlyFans. Then I didn't get any tattoos because I moved to Georgia for a while. And then I finally found a tattoo artist I liked, and I like it, but it didn't totally turn out as I hoped. And the artist seemed more experienced when I was talking to them, and based on the Instagram that they had versus like the amount of experience they had, like when I went to go see them. So I'm talking about this tattoo right here on my leg. It's my battle axe tattoo, and it just, the thing that really threw me off was she was asking me how I wanted her to do the shading on the tattoo, and in my opinion, that's where it started to go wrong, is when she did the shading. Because she asked me how much shading I wanted, or like how I wanted to do it, and I don't know. I don't draw. I'm not an artist. I don't do this for a living. I don't know what I'm supposed to get. And she's like, well, do you want to look through my Instagram and show me what shading you like? I'm like, they're not the same tattoo. I can't tell you based off of this tattoo how to shade this tattoo if they're not even the same tattoo. So that just kind of like threw me off. But what I'm unhappy with it, what I'm not happy about with this tattoo is the amount of shading. Like, she did really, really amazing, like, fine line work in the blade of the axe, but you can't see it because she shaded too heavily over the, like, script line work that she did, which I think looks amazing, and she should do more of it. Some of her line work didn't heal that well. And me personally, I think the outside line work on the axe is too heavy for the tattoo. Ultimately, like, I'm still happy I got the tattoo. It's not something I would ever get removed or anything like that. Would I try to maybe go to another artist to maybe get it like refreshed or updated? Yeah, I would consider it. But you know, I still really like it. I like the design. I just didn't go back to her. If I knew how to answer those questions, or if I knew how to draw, I would do tattoos, but I suck. So, yeah, I'm not a drawing artist. I'm a word artist. So that was the only tattoo I got done from her. While I was there, I did, before we got to the shading part, I was gonna like try to set up another appointment with her to get more stuff done. And I was asking her opinion on how to fill in certain areas, and it just, that didn't go well either. I'm not really gonna get into it, but yeah, I decided not to get anything else done by her. After that happened, it took me a while to find another artist in Georgia. And my partner and I had talked about getting matching tattoos by the same artist, and I found an artist that I really liked. So, and matching tattoos where the idea is the same, but the execution wasn't going to totally be the same. Like, they were going to have their own differences. So, I messaged the artist. I talked with them back and forth. I did start off asking them if they would do it in a neo-traditional style. At first they agreed, but then they were like, yeah, Just kidding. I really would like to do it in a color realism style. And I was like, you're saying color realism, but I told you I don't only do black and gray tattoos. So figure that out. I did like break my rule a little bit about color because there is a little red in it, and when you see it, it'll make sense. If you guys haven't seen it already. When I got there, okay, so when I went to go set up the appointment, he had like a year-long waiting period, which turned out to be good. And okay, so it took a year for me to get the tattoo, partly because I could only come in on a Friday. And actually, I really wanted to come in on the weekend, but it was kind of like I would never get the tattoo if it was going to be a weekend. So I was like, okay, I'll do a Friday. He would only do full day sessions. So I had to be there for 8 hours, which after I got this tattoo, I'm never going to sit for another 8-hour tattoo. I'm going to tell you that right now. Especially, I think the reason why it was so painful was because of how much color is concentrated in one area for this tattoo, and it's a pretty large area, so it just not great. And the healing process was terrible. I couldn't walk for like 2 days after I got the tattoo because my muscle was so like stressed and in so much pain. It literally hurt to flex the muscle. So I don't know if that's because I probably shouldn't have set for an 8-hour session for how much color is in this one area. I'll show you guys. It'll make more sense. But yeah, it took a year to get in, which was totally okay because I ended up getting pregnant right after I scheduled the appointment. So I was able to have my daughter and everything like that before I had the appointment. The only thing is that if you're breastfeeding, I'm gonna say you're not supposed to get tattooed, but it's like really, really recommended that you don't. I think it's because there's like a higher chance of infection and you getting sick. Because the tattoo is essentially an open wound. And I don't really know if many people realize this, but like a woman's immune system drops like significantly right after she has her child. Just because her body's working so hard to like physically recover from having the child, that the body's ability to respond to anything against the immune system is not as good. So, I'm not a doctor, but this is all the things that I've learned from having my daughter. Which is a lot. They don't teach you enough while you're pregnant or before you get pregnant. About all this different stuff. But anyway, if you're pregnant, don't get a tattoo. If you're breastfeeding, don't get a tattoo. Just moral of the story. I wasn't breastfeeding at the time, so I was still able to get the tattoo. Like I said, 8-hour session. I won't sit for another 8-hour session ever again. And I'll show you the tattoo. Overall, I'm happy with it, but the same thing that happened with this tattoo happened with my new tattoo, and I'm like really disappointed because it was like significantly more expensive. So let's see if I'll just lower you guys and then bring you back up. Okay, so this is my Scream tattoo. This is really awkward. And so the part that I'm talking about, I don't think, because of the lighting, it doesn't look too crazy, but it does have some blowout or bleed out right up here, so he has like a haze above his head. So I'm gonna try to work with somebody else on doing some other type of tattoo up that'll hopefully make it less noticeable. So yeah, let's bring it back up a little bit. I was thinking about, and after I got that tattoo, he was like messaging me like all the time because he wanted me to come in and get more stuff. I'm like, for free, sure, but if I have to pay for more shit, no. But he messaged me because he wanted to put a TV underneath the tattoo, and like conceptually it kind of sounds cool, but like I'm not really for it. So I didn't do it, and then I wasn't happy with how the top of his head looks. Like overall the tattoo looks good, and I got it in October and it's June 1st right now, so it has healed pretty well and it hasn't faded or lifted too bad. He kind of does already need a touch up, like on his hand where he's holding the phone. But we'll cross that bridge at some point if I ever get any of my tattoos touched up. But yeah, it was a lot. It's a lot of ink in one area. I don't know how people sit through those blackout sleeves or whatever they get in blacked out. I don't understand how people could sit through those. But other than that, I've never heard this term before, but I don't know, maybe I just wasn't paying attention, but somebody called this style of tattooing where you just get random tattoos patchwork. And I never really it kind of is. I never really oh, he also did this one when I was there. The 7-11-22. Which was nice. But yeah, patchwork style tattooing where you just get random tattoos instead of like one whole cohesive sleeve. But if your arms are covered with tattoos, it's still a sleeve. So and that's what I plan on doing, is finishing as much of the gaps as I can on my arms, and then which this arm's kind of a lot. I always forget about this tattoo, but I always forget about this tattoo. I never remember I have it at all. I'd really like to do like a oracle tattoo. I want to do a kitsune tattoo. I'd really like to do a snake. And then a Valkyrie. I was thinking about getting a Medusa. But I don't want to have a whole bunch of faces all over my body. So it's kind of like the Valkyrie or Medusa. So we'll decide which one. We'll figure out which one wins that battle. I don't have any the only pop culture tattoo I have is my Scream tattoo. I am considering getting a Pachimari tattoo from Overwatch. And I think as of right now, that's my only other pop culture tattoo that I would get. Then I've always wanted to get like maybe like some like small like hand tattoos, but I'm not 1,000% positive on that either. I think the tattoos behind your ears are like really cute as long as it's like a cool design. The snake tattoo, if that's something I end up getting, I want it to go from like right here and end somewhere on my thigh. I don't want to really to go past my like short line. So and I only plan on getting my right leg tattooed, which is the leg that's currently tattooed. I don't plan on doing both of my legs. So it's kind of a lot. I mean, it's kind of a lot to figure out, but I really like doing that. I like trying to figure out what I'm going to do with certain spaces. I really want to do a flower of life tattoo, which is a geometric design. I'm thinking about, I really think the stippling work is cool, but I would be worried about it fading. But I would like to do it kind of like as a filler design in here. If that's what I end up doing. And then of course I have to figure out something for my elbow. And okay, so I always said my most painful tattoo was my inner arm, like up in here, because this one almost goes up into my armpit. And the artist that did this, him and one of the guys at the tattoo shop were like really trying to pressure me into either getting it on my throat, which I'm not going to get my throat tattooed at all, because I don't like the look on me. I don't want to do that. This down is what I would get tattooed. Not anything up unless it's behind my ear. Or they were trying to talk me into getting in my armpit. I'm like, absolutely not. So yeah, it's just because the area is so tender, so sensitive. The skin is like thinner. That's why it was so painful. It's like a weird area. But then when I sat for my 8-hour tattoo, that was really painful too. This was like maybe a 2-hour tattoo, if that. And the only reason why it took 2 hours because so most tattoo artists have like a tip that does individual dots on its own. This dude did all of the individual dots with the same tip that he used to do the line work. So those are like individual dots, like done by hand. So I think that's also one of the reasons why it like blew out the way it did, because of how much trauma was in the area. And this is also a tattoo where he talked me into doing a white in the arrow heads, and it was pretty much non-existent. Like 2 years later, if that. There was also white in the eye, and you really can't tell it was ever there either. So yeah, I'm currently on the hunt for another tattoo artist in Georgia. I found a few that I'm considering getting work done by. But the one thing I've noticed being here, it's kind of hard to find somebody with the style that I like, because I've seen a lot of like realism, or like really American traditional. But I haven't really seen too many like illustrative or like neo-traditional. Like I said, I did find this one girl that I really like, but I'm pretty sure she's the same artist who just had a baby and went on maternity leave not too long ago. But other than that, these are my tattoos. This is what I have. The only other tattoo I haven't mentioned that I would like to do is like one of the underbust tattoos, and the idea I think I've settled on is kind of like geometric honeycomb, but like make it illustrative or neo-traditional. Like, I'm the only thing that like makes me hesitant about getting like the flower of life tattoo is because I don't want like a super geometric tattoo, and the flower of life is literally sacred geometry. So I just want to try to do it in a style where it doesn't look geometrical. I don't know. I want to do it in a style where it fits the rest of the tattoos I have, except for the one I have up my leg. Yeah, so these are my tattoos. These are my plans. This is what I have. You only haven't seen one tattoo, but you have seen it if you're on my other social media. But yeah. If you guys have any other questions, I have a bunch of things that have worked for me for aftercare. If you guys are interested in it, just ask me down below and I will reply. I try to always reply unless it's like a really off the wall comment or something, or get like a huge backlog. Like I'm behind in everything. Alright guys, so I'm really glad we got to spend this time together, and I hope this video helped you in some way. Either reduce stress, anxiety, or maybe you're even asleep. And if you're asleep, I want you to know that I appreciate you. But if you're awake and you made it to this point in the video, you are amazing. Well guys, like I said, I'm really glad we got to spend this time together, and I hope we get to do it again really, really soon. Thanks. Bye.